Okay. Um, the ingredients to make a regular pound lemon cake, which is going to be great for the holidays. I preferably like to use cake flour. I normally use 2 stick of butter, 2 cups of sugar, and then I use my cake flour, which is going to be 2 cups. You can shift it if you liked, but it do already have shift ingredients in your cake flour if you choose to use cake flour. Then normally I would use 4 eggs, beat those up very well, and when you put those combined into your mixer, you may want to use 1 egg at a time to make sure it's thoroughly going through. Then for your flavoring for your lemon cake, you may want to use zest, or you can use lemon juice. Preferably, I like to use lemon juice. It's the same as if you were um, doing your own lemon and squeezing. Just to cut some time down, you still get the same results. When you get all those mixed up in your mixer, you want to make sure you're mixing it well and your texture is real fluffy. Uh, then that's when it's ready to go into the oven.
We have
Yeah.
butter versus margarine. We have sugar
Always.
and
I never
all
use.
those good, tasty ingredients. I'm so glad that there's an expert on the East Coast, because I know that when we, as I said earlier, when you bring those individual pineapple upside down cakes, the one thing that we can say is they're moist and they don't taste overly sugary, but they do taste, you can tell it's delicious and it's not sour, but it's good, tasty, balanced sugar in those pineapple upside down cakes. Now, let me ask you a little bit about the history. What started you baking your delicious desserts? Because I know you do other things too. But what started you as a baker way back when?
Well, when my daughter passed 2013, um, I had to take custody of my grandson, and 2 years later, his dad got killed. So I had full custody of him. When he was little, he used to love my desserts when he used to come over. And then when he came to me full time, I started baking a little more. Then I was on Facebook and advertising. Well, not really advertising, but I was just showing, some things that I was doing, and people started saying, you should start selling those. So I made my first banana pudding cake, and I posted, and someone came right over and purchased it. And then I started making cakes after that. It was like weekends, every Friday evening and Saturday and Sunday, and then it just became a everyday thing where I'm a self-taught person, so I was teaching myself a lot. So a lot of techniques I still need to learn, and I'm always open. If anyone have any suggestions about anything. But that's where I first started really getting into it, like 2013, 14. So 2015, it just really kind of took off as, I'm not going to say a business, but it just started taking off where I was just doing cakes every single day, getting larger orders. I was flooded like all the holidays. And then I just started watching videos and learning techniques how to do grand birthday cakes and wedding cakes. So I'm doing wedding cakes, I'm really enjoying those and learning the different techniques for that.
Wow. Wow. You have now taught yourself to be excellent in formulating desserts by request, even. Folks talk to
Yeah.
other folks and they see what someone else has, and then they get your number and they call and they want to know, I have an occasion. Can I call on you, Karen? Cakes by K. Cakes by
It's
Karen. and they have
Yeah.
passed the word around by mouth. And now here she is teaching others how to make cakes. Now we're going to talk about that later on because I also saw on Facebook you taught a class full of women how to make excellent cakes. So let's talk about this. I do a thing called Stress Less for Success. Does it somehow, the love of your art of baking, does it somehow give you a fulfillment of decreasing your stress, or does it add stress when you're doing
Oh,
what you say you like doing? Tell me how that
it
works.
decreased my stress because number one, it makes me happy to see other people happy and enjoying my product. Like I said, I teach myself, so and I consider myself a mixologist because what I do, I take different ingredients and combine them. I don't like doing, exactly what other people is doing. So I kind of create my own recipes and just to see people enjoy them and pass it on to other people. It's just a joy within me, and it kind of helped me to relax myself because I'm in the kitchen constantly, baking. So it takes a lot off of me, especially, with my grandson being disabled, and I go through a lot with him. So, it just kind of helped me get through that as well. So,
All right. So the question I have for you first, if you're serving people, you're saying that you find out about their taste palettes. In other words,
yeah.
what do you like? So maybe
Mhm.
lime against lemon, strawberries against cherries. You find out what they like. And then when they say, make us something, maybe they might call you and say, can you bake us a cake? You
Mhm.
question them, get what they like, and then you start bubbling with your creativity. And most of the time, it lands with a victory for you and for them. Am I right?
Yes, yes.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. So, we want to talk a little bit about your history in your cake baking and all the other things because they've called on you. What age were
Mhm.
you when you first learned how to cook?
Oh, wow. I was really young. My grandmother, uh, who is my dad' mom, she raised me in Chester, PA, straight from the hospital when I was first born. And my grandfather, which was her husband, his family all had restaurants in Philly and New York. And he used to build homes and work on homes, and he would come home and go straight in the kitchen and make his meals and everything. So I mean, he learned from a kid, um, creating recipes and stuff himself, and I learned from watching him growing up. So when I was 7 years old, everybody was in the house and they was all hungry and everybody was like, there's nothing to eat. So me being 7 years old, I was tiny, I couldn't reach anything. I pulled up a chair to the cabinet, pulled some things out, went in the refrigerator and pulled some things out, looked in the freezer, and then hours later it was a whole complete meal that I made. I was at the age of 7 when I made my first meal, and that was up in the fairground, Chester, PA. That's my hometown.
Amen. So your history from working with your grandfather, am I right?
Yes, Robert Lee
Helped
Baldwin.
you were an observant person at
Yeah,
7, and you
I was
watched
always,
how he moved around the kitchen, pulled out his ingredients, and came out and had a spectacular meal for the family. And you wanted to do what Grandpa did. You wanted to feed
yeah,
everyone and make everybody happy. So that's a good
yeah.
history. So tell
It,
us about after doing that, and all your siblings loved what you had to present to them. Oh my goodness, I could imagine after that it was cook me this and cook me that. Am I right? So it just got you
yeah,
started way back when at 7 years old.
yeah,
Many children would rather be outside, but you found a love from seeing what your grandpa did. And you
Yeah.
decided this is the path that you wanted to travel because you could see that your siblings were satisfied. You met their
Yes.
needs as far as food was concerned, and you even made it tasty. And then you
Well, actually,
became the,
siblings, they were my aunts and uncles.
oh
Because again,
my,
grandmother that raised me. So with her kids coming up, we were all raised as sisters and brothers, even though they were my aunts and uncles.
a familiar
Yeah.
thread. You had the thread
Yeah.
that binds, and that was what you cooked. It brought them all together for your uncles and for your aunts. This is a beautiful story. I love your history. I know there's a book in you to write your story about what it is that Cakes by Karen has behind her in her history. And folks would love to hear more. So, what I'm going to say is, I thank you for putting the ingredients together. And now we're going to come on the other side about putting it all together and what it's going to taste like, what it's going to look like. So, audience, I just want to say if you got your pen and your paper, remember what you've written down. And now we're going to tell you how to put it together in the oven, bring it out, and dress it up because Karen Strickland-Cochran has a lot to say when we come right back after this commercial. Get your coffee, your tea, and come back.
If you want to brand or be a guest, contact Betty at 443-993-1811 or watersdon'tstress@outlook.com. See disclaimer at the end of the program.
Welcome back, Track TV audience out there. We have a special guest, as we were saying earlier before the commercial. We have Karen Strickland-Cochran, Cakes by Karen, and she's been showing us how to put together some ingredients for a delicious pound cake. So here she is right now coming back with how you mix it. She gave us the ingredients now for amateurs like me and perhaps amateurs like you. She's going to tell us what to do and what speed should we put that mixer on. Because, sometimes we might put it on too fast. Sometimes we might put it on too slow. But you're going to tell us what speed should we choose for our mixer. Karen, the baker, the best on the East Coast.
Yes, you always want to keep it on low when you're mixing up. As your ingredients go in, you always keep it on low. But after all your ingredients are together, you can speed it up to about three speeds because you want to make sure it blends in well.
Mhm.
So I normally keep it on for about 2 minutes, but you don't want to overbeat it. Never overbeat because if you do, it will flatten or you will get those wet spots in your pound cake. So always try to keep it on low. Also, after everything is blended up well, then it's ready to go into the oven. You want to make sure you preheat your oven on 350. I normally do mine on 350. Some people do them on 325. It depends on the type of oven you have.
Okay.
So sometimes you got to kind of weigh it out which speed or which degree you're going to put it on. Everybody oven don't cook the same, so
Mhm.
you have to determine. But the regular degree is 350, and I normally keep my pound cakes in for like 60 to 110 minutes.
Mhm. So the secret is to make sure you have that oven preheated. Don't turn
Yeah,
the oven on. In other words, an amateur like me, I might turn the oven on after I put the cake in, and that's not good. So you want that temperature just right to receive those mixed up ingredients so that we can help it to rise the right way. And as you
yeah,
said, when you put it in the blender, as you're putting in each ingredient, you're saying that we need to have it mixing on slow so that each ingredient can be infusing, am I right, with the rest
yeah,
of the ingredients. Wow.
yes. You
Good, good
that's
tips you
important.
got there.
Yes,
Good tips you got there. So
yeah,
my question is, okay, uh, oven time was again, how long should it bake in there?
You want to bake it for like 60, which is an hour, but you can bake it for like 60 to 110. Normally, what I have is this is a little cake tester. Uh, a lot of stores sell these, and what you do is just take your cake out and poke it. If it come out wet, then you know to put it back in. Even sometimes when you keep it in the time that it's supposed to be in there, it may not still be done. You still may get wet spots, and you have to put it back in another maybe 10 minutes. But always check and make sure you don't get anything wet on your knife, or you can get a cake tester like I have.
Hmm. And back in the day with my grandmother, she used to take a toothpick and stick down in there and pull it
Yeah.
up. And as you said, being a little kid observing like you were with your grandfather, sometimes it might have a lot of sticky stuff on that toothpick. So then we knew that cake is not done. So that's a good way
Right.
to say, test it before you pull it all the way out. We don't want to embarrass ourselves before our
Yeah.
uh, guest will taste it and find out it's not even cooked all the way through. So that's a good tip out there in TV land. Audience, listen to her tips that she's giving us today for an excellent outcome. We want to know what
Yeah.
that delicious cake is going to taste like. So, the other question is your creativity. Now, while the cake is baking, I'm sure you're doing your next step. And your next step is after you put it in the oven. What kind of pans are you going to use today, first of all, to put your
Um,
ingredients in so that cake can come out the way you desire?
I'm using little bunt pans today. So you can go on Amazon, various stores, and pick up a pan like this.
Okay.
They come in.
So it doesn't matter where you get the pan. My question is this: do you want to assure it's a non-stick pan?
Well, I even if it say non-stick, because yes, you definitely want to get something non-stick, but you still have to spray it. And some people do it the old-fashioned way. They may put oil in there, then some flour, shift that around. But me, let me show you what I use.
Don't forget, we can't, we won't advertise for them because we don't want them to get us, but you're going to tell us what they can get. Go ahead. I got you. Don't worry. We're going to work this out together.
I use a flour spray.
Flower
That's one.
spray. Ooh, that's a good one. Flower spray. Never thought of it. Never
Yes,
thought of that. It comes in a
yes.
can and you
Comes
just
in a can.
spray it.
Stores sell them. Well, all the markets that I know of, you can definitely get a can. But it's a flour and a spray. It's like a flour and oil mixed combination. So, and it works pretty well. So I prefer that than doing it the old-fashioned way. It saves a lot of time. So
Right.
if
And
you
because of the volume that you're now,
got to worry about them times in between those
yeah.
cakes. So.
And because of the volume that you're baking at now, you can't afford to waste not even a minute. You've got to keep it
Uh,
moving.
Yeah,
Yes,
sometimes I'm
indeed.
in 4, 6 in the morning, and I don't lay down until 10, 12 midnight. Thanksgiving and all Christmas coming up, I normally get up earlier than that, and sometimes I may not even go to sleep.
Oh my goodness,
I,
the demand, supply and
I get
demand,
in
and you've got what they
I'll
want.
sure they get what they need.
Yes. So let me just say, now that we've put it in the oven and you said it should be between 60 and 110 minutes, and now we know that we stick the tester in there to make sure it's cooked and it's cooked well. So now let's go to the next step. You bring it out that oven and what's going to look like? What is it going to do?
Okay, well, I pulled it out the oven, and remind you these are smaller versions that I'm using. So I'm doing a 2 level pound cake today.
Okay.
So normally I do take my powdered sugar and a tablespoon of butter. I melt that down and combine that with some lemon juice, which is just like a about 2 tablespoons of lemon juice that you would need. You can freshly squeeze it, or you can use the lemon juice in the stores. After you combine that together, you should get a consistency of a flow like this. That's how you want
Okay.
to stir. Okay. Once you have that, while it's kind of warm, you want to let it cool down before you put anything on there, because if you put it on when it's too hot, it's just going to run off. So after you let it cool down for, I normally let mine cool a good hour. You still want it
Uh-huh.
to have warmth in there. That way it glaze on a little smoother for you.
Uh-huh.
And just go all the way around putting glaze. That's what I do with mine. Some people just like to pour it on. Me, I want you to taste a little glaze in every bite. So I go around and smooth some on.
Okay. Looks delicious. I'm telling you. Good. I don't know about you out there in the audience, but I'm telling you that cake looks good. I want a slice right now. Yes, indeed.
Yeah,
I don't even need any ice cream with that. Looks so good.
like a
Yes,
lemon
it
buttery.
does.
So
Uh-huh.
you can see that butter like popping out. See that?
Yes, yes, yes.
So once you put your first coat on here, you can go ahead and put your little one on, which is going to be a small one.
Oh, beautiful. That's attractive. Interesting.
Yes. So this is like a
Yes.
personal size too. So I actually have, when I brought this set, it's a larger one that goes down at the bottom. So as one of my prizes when I did my class, one of my classes, um, whoever won, they received a pound cake. So this is one of the sizes that I'm going to be doing to give away to some of my students in the class.
Excellent,
So
excellent,
two
excellent.
layer. So it kind of equals up to 1 pound cake, but it's just 2 small ones, and it's real elegant looking to me.
Yes, it is. It
So
has a crown. That small one makes it look like a crown on top. Yes,
yes,
indeed. Wouldn't that be
yes,
a
that's why.
delicious dessert for any holiday, any occasion?
Yeah,
Dripping with that delicious icing coating
let,
on there. Yes,
yeah,
indeed. Yes,
and you can
indeed.
let
It certainly does.
go thicker. Just put less
Okay.
lemon.
Yes. Delicious, delicious.
Up.
So
You
now,
just
as
go
we're
around.
finishing up this cake, Karen, it looks so good. As I said, it's still dripping with such delicious icing on it. Um, I'm going to ask you to tell people how they can get in touch with you to order some of your delicious recipes and to talk to you about how to make a cake or invite you over so that you can teach their audience how to do it because you've done classes for people before and they've done
Yeah.
well from what I've seen on your Facebook page. So give us some information about Karen real quick now because the time is running down and the audience wants to know.
Yes. You can reach me on Facebook. I have a Facebook page. I'm on Instagram. I'm on TikTok. Actually have some things that I'm posting now on Pinterest. I was on there last year and I just posted a couple of things, but I'm going to start doing some regular things on there and probably try to get on YouTube a little bit. But you can contact me on my cell as well. 610-235-3655 is my cell. If you're on any of those social medias, you can inbox me Karen Strickland-Cochran, Cakes by Kay.
Karen, I heard you say in the very beginning, in our intro, that you've won contests. And yes, you've won first place. So I want you to tell us some of those contests that you've won. Make it quick. We only have a minute, but you got a lot of good information. Go ahead.
Contest was in high school, Chester High School. My class was entered, culinary class was entered into high school, university culinary class contest, which had like 50 universities in there, and Chester High was entered for the first time. Well, anyway, that contest, out of 50 people, colleges, Chester High came in first place, and I was in second place. It was three places, first, second, and third. So I came in second place with Chester High School winning that competition. And I was exposed the first time on the news. I won 5 competitions in South Jersey. So I was South Jersey #1 baker for 5 years. So next year they told me I'll have to be a judge. That's enough winning.
Amen.
That's for now. But I'm working
So,
my way. I would love to.
and recently you've won some contests in recent years. Tell us about that real quick.
Yes, those are the 5 contests that I won. It was for South Jersey. Oh, and also I was on the Greatest Baker. I was on the Greatest Baker. And that was like worldwide. I was in first place with that one. I don't know if a lot of people know Buddy. He has a show and also a couple of bakeries in New York City. He's always on TV. Um, so I was in his competition and I was in first place for at least about 6, 7 months. And then I dropped down to 4 at the end. So
She comes in every month with us at Episcopal Place Park Road, where it's an independent living place. When we're doing our stress less for success, she comes in there with those in it. She brings in 20 of them. And the reason why I purchased them for her, because I haven't had anybody who has baked a better pineapple upside down cake than her. I'm telling you, for over a year, she's been coming in once a month with those baked goods. And I'm just trying to say she has more. And so we're going to figure out how she can have a segment that will last, that she can do quicker, of course. Her process will be quicker and she can be on certain times of, certain parts of the month, I would say out of the 4 weeks, Karen's going to be on. So Karen and I are working that out. She has more to show. And then I'll have less questions to ask where Karen can go on with the most of the time for the show. But this was just the first one. So we want the audience to come in and contact her about her baked goods, and especially that beautiful cake right there with the sunflowers on it and all. And my God, and you should see some more of her decorations. That's all I can say. I just appreciate even getting to know her.